for a Reddit Dota 2 League in-house match. We've got the team names up. These aren't the actual teams, but hey, we'll refer to them as those teams. Deleted versus Autobots, Radiant versus Dire, first pan, and consequently first pick will go to the Radiant side, and that will be Gyrocopter to kick it off. Chib will be drafting on the side of Radiant. E4H6 for the Dire. Both Chib and E4H6 have seen play in Season 1, and that's why we see the team names. Chib, our administrator, seen as C. Troxel on the Reddit Dota 2 League subreddit, played for Deleted in Season 1. E4H6 played mid for Autobots. Chib, a support player, now going into free agency. Lifestealer, the ban by E4H6. Now, I may or may not end up with a co-caster. It sounded like I was going to, but now nobody has joined the Mumble channel, so seems like I'm good on my own end. Also, whoever's in my broadcast channel is also not audible, so if you are intending to be able to be heard, you're not. Though that may just be because of mute co-broadcasters, which could make this a little weird. Let me unmute that and see if I hear anyone.
I'm here with you.
Okay.
All smiles reporting in.
Alright, there we go. It's all smiles. Anything you're expecting out of this first pick?
Well, Nick's is still in the pool, but he's gotten nerfed, so I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna kick it off in style with Spirit Breaker. He's added the... Yeah, so his charge has added the greater bash upon impact with 6.78.
We could see this as support Spirit Breaker. See Ike's Mike playing that a lot.
Yeah, we've yet to see where Spirit Breaker settles in. Seen support Spirit Breaker a couple times, kind of wondered if he'll show up mid. He's kind of a carry and kind of not, so it's kind of weird to put him in a safe lane farm, but aggressive tri-lane could work as well. A lot of options unclear as of yet. Autobots on the Dire, going to pick up Shadow Demon and Visage.
They have a good support lane, but they lack stuns.
You have the disable from disruption, but it's not really Visage isn't a setup hero, so you don't have any stun to follow it up where they're stuck in place and you're dealing damage. Delete gonna say, yeah, we have stuns. We're gonna follow up with Ogre Magi, so they're 2 for 2 on the stuns, but a little unorthodox in their picks. Visage, the strength will be in a tri-lane versus tri-lane scenario, so I'm curious what the intent is here. Maybe expecting, because they went Spirit Breaker first, that there'll be an aggressive tri-lane against them. Going to have to wait and see. Now we're into the bans. Alchemist, the first ban. Magnus was the first on the side of the Dire.
Well, with the support picks of the Autobots, Visage and Shadow Demon are both very utility-based support heroes. They're somewhat like Rubik, where they can fill a lot of roles, yet they don't give the lane away or the plans.
Yeah, Visage, if he ends up getting farm, can be surprisingly effective. You can, with your familiars, once you have those up at level 6, you can actually participate in ganks all the way across the map. You don't even have to be there. Your familiars, if nothing else, provide stuns, plus a lot of damage if they haven't used up their charges. Darkseer selected on Dire, so a lot of well-rounded heroes. No real obvious weaknesses, but we're still trying to work out exactly what their game plan is and how their lanes will look. Waiting to see the third pick out of Deleted right now. We're not sure if Spirit Breaker's going to show up as a support or core. Ogre Magi, pretty much only ever a support as far as we see him.
You never know, though. There's the Weaver, taking advantage of a lack of stunts on the Autobots. However, I feel like they could pick them later, just so the Autobots don't have, like, the counters to Weaver, such as Bloodseeker or Night Stalker. Long silences or the stun lock.
Yeah, Bloodseeker, an easily overlooked, really strong counter against Weaver, and his buffs in 6.78. I haven't seen Bloodseeker been getting picked much. I think I saw him once in 6.78 be picked up. so far. So, seen Spirit Breaker a few more times.
I've seen them a few times actually, as a counter to melee heroes carries that need that can be kind of like Sven. So what they do is they rupture the Sven, and then he's forced to sit there unless he wants to take the HP removal damage. And then they fight somewhere else for the 8 seconds where Sven can't get in. Same thing goes for CK or Alchemist.
Yes, and I had also seen in pre 6.78 Bloodseeker actually selected against a Lifestealer just to silence him repeatedly. Dro Ranger actually picked up by Autobots. There were back in the old ult of Dro Ranger where it was global, you could actually do a really stupid combination between Dro Ranger and Visage where you would use the Visage familiars with the aura to backdoor towers. Just because of how much damage that would afford you.
There's the Night Stalker pick to counter the Tinkers with the silence. I mean, by 6 minutes, if he does okay with like a bottom boots, you can easily dive this Tinker with his passive.
Yeah, silence is really strong here, and with the last 2 picks, they picked up 2 silences. And then Venge, so we've got double buffs coming out. Venge's aura and the Bloodlust, or it is Bloodlust. Alright. I think I was getting confused with Bloodseeker for a moment. But Bloodlust on the Ogre Magi, but we're into the game, so I'll start off by introducing our players on the Dire side. First up, we have on that Dro Ranger, it's Mustach. The supports, we see Zag on the Shadow Demon, and then on Visage, there's Jschip. Darkseer will be headed up by Spam, and then the first out of the gates with the Night Stalker, E4H6 on his way out to mid. Now, could you give us a rundown of the players on the Radiant side there, All Smiles? Okay, may have lost him for a moment. So let's just give a rundown on who's playing what on the Radiant side. First up, headed up towards the top lane. In the aggressive tri-lane, we have Brocrates on the Spirit Breaker. He's joined by Knifer on the Ogre Magi. And then we have our admin RD2L is Chib on the Vengeful Spirit. Down towards bottom, ending up actually dodging each other's tri-lanes. It will be Wax on the Weaver up against the opposing aggressive tri-lane. And then in mid, against the Night Stalker, we see Remorse on the Tinker. So we have a ping out. Looks like they're telling him to block the camp with that Observer Ward. And there we go. Down it goes.
Illusion.
And this is something we don't get to see a whole lot, is tri-lanes dodging each other. I feel as though, like, both sides, it's worked out that they've sent offlaners to the solo safe lane. So it could have worked out worse for either side. As it is, Weaver's kind of squishy early on, and if we get an early silence out of Dro Ranger, it could be dangerous, but she goes Aura first, which means that we're probably not going to see silence until level 3 at least. Unless she wants to forego the slow until that point.
Well, what surprises me is the Dire actually have a really good tri-lane with Frost Arrows, the slow, and then the Grave Chill of Visage. It's enough to get a kill pretty easily, and Visage dominates tri-lane versus tri-lane, just like Undying does.
On most lanes, yes. In this lane, we have Weaver being able to Shikuchi away where the slows aren't nearly as big. Once he's out of that, Weaver is squishy though, so I'm looking for the silence out of Dro. I really want to see an early point in silence on Dro Ranger. I feel like that's going to be the biggest thing, but yeah, we're probably going to see Frost Arrows at level 2, which means we won't see that until at least level 3.
And the Radiant, with having 2 melee heroes in the tri-lane, are really affected by this Ion Shell from Darkseer. Spirit Breaker's already at half HP. Ogre's taking a lot of damage. And Ogre doesn't have much regen either.
Yeah, though Ogre Magi, he should be able to position himself better. Perhaps taking a little much on the Ion Shell. He doesn't need to be near the creeps as a support. But now going to rotate towards mid, perhaps checking the rune, but it's already too late for that.
We see Night Stalker finding in the March though. He's taking a lot of damage from it.
Yeah, they do a nice little trade there. Going to continue to go since he picked up that haste rune. Another burst,
rotation
but not going to be enough. Yeah, and had Tinker had a salve on him, so that'll be all right. But the lack of rune means no bottle charges.
Tinker's also not faring as well as you expect in this lane. He's only 6 for 0, and Night Stalker's 6 for 1.
Yeah, if that keeps up, Night Stalker's going to be very happy trading evenly on last hit. Normally, Night Stalker's kind of hanging back and having to use.
I don't want to interrupt you, but on bottom, they're going on Chib right now.
Oh.
And there's a first blood on bottom.
Good point. Outcaught just the end of that. Now Ogre Magi being caught by the frost arrows, but not going to be able to catch up.
Go around.
And they're going to continue to try and dive. Grave Chill used. Turns around and stuns.
That's a lot of damage.
And that ends up being too much. Last hit goes away.
Joe dies,
actually, to the creeps.
And we could see a 2 for 2 as well with the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, Shadow Demon very low. Weaver catches up. Gets a double kill on the Weaver.
Spirit Breaker is still farming away though. He's 19 and 5 in less than 4 minutes.
Yeah, so this now looks like it will turn into a tri-lane versus tri-lane finally, closing in on 4 minutes. Everybody back down towards bottom lane after that rotation.
Darkseer's still playing very passive. Now that even though the supports have rotated.
Normally, Spirit Breaker's going to be really rough to try and beat. Perhaps not in lane, but try and actually be aggressive on early on. But we actually down bottom. We actually have a disruption follow-up, and Venge can't go anywhere. Actually trapped in by the illusions, and that's another kill for Dire. That evens up 3-3.
Weaver also has no mana for Shakuchi as well.
Fortunately for him, out of range, and no real follow-up, just a couple pokes from Throw Ranger before backing off. But yeah, if anyone's going to be able to tank up in the same kind of way as Spirit Breaker, that's Darkseer. A ton of starting armor plus Ion Shell.
Ogre Magi also has the second highest efficient health pool in the game. Effective health pool.
Yeah, huge
with like
amount.
600, almost 650 HP and 6 armor.
As well as a ton of strength gain. I believe it's like 3.2. I'd have to check. Yep, 3.2.
Something bad is happening.
Pressuring out the bottom tower. The one thing to say about the current state of the game, though, is Spirit Breaker is getting his farm. In fact, almost doubling up anybody else on the map right now. 25 last hits on him. And there's nobody else doing really well.
Weaver's at 2k already. I mean, Weaver's doing really well. He is the highest worth in the game. And Night Stalker might die here in the mid lane.
Yeah,
as well as Tinker, they're both very low and balling up.
Yes, Night Stalker being very aggressive during daytime. The tower shot's going to be very close to finishing him. They do.
All planned.
He was 5 seconds away from nighttime. But
he still wouldn't have escaped though. He has no way of disjointing that last tower hit.
Yeah, no, just the dive there. Perhaps he could have at least gotten the kill or in and out faster. As it is.
You also see a rotation from the Tinker, who has a DD now on this Darkseer. However, even with the kill, Tinker's still very behind in terms of farm. He has nothing in his stash, I believe.
Yeah, he's still 1,500 away. But now Night Stalker's TP'd in. Tinker just can't get away from this guy. But the charge in going to bump him back, trying to save him. March used, and Tinker not able to get away. That might have actually cost him there. That stopped to cast it, but Spirit Breaker turns it around, gets the kill. Could he go for 2?
Yeah, he might get a second kill as well.
Surge off a cooldown in 1 second, though. Can he get... He couldn't get the last second
No
bash.
lucky bashes. No.
Oh, if he stopped for the right click there, he might have been able to get one more shot. As it is, Darkseer gets away. Ends up being a trade for the two mids.
However, Spirit Breaker still gets the gold. And he might get the carry as well, yep.
Just a little lackadaisical on the courier, gets that kill there. Tinker even further away from his boots of travel. Actually gonna pick up his full wand before he goes in for the travels.
He also isn't building a soul ring either, so we could be looking at like 13 to 14 minute boots of travel if he gets lucky on this. As he's not going to accomplish much at nighttime with his Night Stalker.
I've been seeing less and less of soul rings on various heroes, but yeah, it's something commonly built. But down on bottom, Visage getting picked off, just in the river, gets stunned up by Ogre Magi, and just the burst out of both Spirit and Weaver.
He was out of position as this Dire Ward, I believe, caught him out.
Yeah, there's full vision on both sides, wards side by side there.
See a rotation from this Tinker, but Night Stalker's still farming in mid, not ganking anywhere.
Yeah, Night Stalker does not have a whole lot on himself either. Just boots bottle.
It's still enough for a kill though.
Yeah, during nighttime. Yeah, he can be roaming right now.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone for Weaver yet with silence duration of nighttime. That's enough for a kill.
Yeah, Dro's actually going for the double Wraith Band, so Mustach feeling like the cost efficiency build is the way to go here. Means early on, all the ranged heroes can do a ton of damage, but Venge caught out. Too far up. Dro gets stunned up, though very low. 36 HP goes down. And now Shadow Demon gets caught by the rockets. Night Stalker and Visage. So 4 for 2 the trade and all of that.
Now Tinker's halfway to Boots Travel.
Yeah, the fight going on with Marching Machines and Rocket Spam is doing a ton of work, even at level 1 on the Rockets.
That's level 4 Marching Machines. It's a lot of damage going through right there.
Yeah, it's hard enough later on to try and push into Marching Machines when you're up higher levels, but under 10 minutes in, level 4 March, that's just a recipe for death, fighting in that.
It's almost a 5k advantage in XP for the Radiant, and a 4k advantage in gold as well. We should top 3 heroes of the Radiants have the 3 highest net worths, with Weaver, Spearbreaker, and Tinker.
Tower is under attack. Oh man, this is
yeah, that's a big lead they've built up in this first 10 minutes. Normally, you'll see a lead start to sprout, but not quite that pronounced. Oh, if they vacuum Venge, she could have been picked off, but I guess just the vision, just out of range. She TP'd out right beside Visage and Darkseer.
Why is this so bloody difficult?
I also want to note that
down on bottom, stun on Dro. A follow-up by Venge. And that's able to finish her off. But continue there before we got caught with another kill.
I don't know where Shadow Demon was. Was he out of position? Was he going to ward? He got saved her with a disruption.
Yeah, he's just catching up to the lane now. I didn't spot his location just during that.
But the 3 top heroes already are also really snowball heroes. I mean, once Weaver gets some of his DPS, the Dire definitely gonna have a hard time stopping them.
It looks like
with their lack of stuns.
Looks like he's likely to go in for a Lincoln's before he goes in for any additional damage items. He has a medallion on him, but he's picked up the Ring of Health.
I'm not sure about this, as they don't have many single target stuns. I mean, AoE silences.
But the charge in from Spirit Breaker, ult used, actually goes on Dro with the ult to bump her back. She gets low, 160 health. Big hit there. That finishes her off. Darkseer going to get caught too. The bash lets them catch up, and that's 3 down for free.
Darkseer also only has 1 level in Surge, so he can't help save heroes with it.
Yeah, that's a little unusual. Often you'll see 2 points in Surge. It's linearly scaling, so I'm not sure why specifically 2 points as opposed to 3 or 4. But
you can get your wall at 11, 10, 11.
Yeah,
4 levels of vacuum, and that's the ideal time to get it.
yeah. It's
I mean, if you don't have
typical.
that big of a vacuum AoE, it's not going to help your wall that much, because they'll just not walk into it. Or 7 huge AoE of level 4 vacuum.
Yeah,
I mean,
just yeah.
4.5
Very often
seconds
you
of
see the
haste is-
2 points in Surge before you start going into vacuum. But
we see a gank on Spirit Visage.
yeah,
DD
Night Stalker
on this.
wanted to come behind, but he was a little late to
However-
save. And now they're going to turn this around. Double kill on the Spirit Breaker.
Night Stalker just hasn't made use of this nighttime. He's only gotten 1 kill so far, 2 assists.
Up top, Darkseer and Weaver were trading a bit. Now Weaver's gotten the better. Doesn't continue to chase. Just does a ton of damage. Brings him down under 150. But he'll get away.
The Radiant also have really good warding at both the rune spots to prevent ganks from the Lifestealer. I mean, not Lifestealer, Night Stalker.
Yeah, at this point, fortunately, we're back in daytime. But yeah, during the nighttime, having that vision is essential when you have Night Stalker moving about, especially that first nighttime where he's almost always, that's where he's the strongest unless he really snowballs.
And Droselin has 16 last hits. She's just not getting much.
And it shows in the net worth, she's actually behind Ogre Magi right now. But Night Stalker spotted out, laser used, but it's just Weaver and Tinker going on him right now. Spirit Breaker's tried to go on Darkseer, gets very low, one more hit, but turned around going on Weaver. He Shikuchi's away.
Oh no, the Purge kills them.
Erd might tick over Darkseer, very low.
We see this Drow
one more tick. And down he goes. Spirit Breaker diving in. Uses another Urn charge, but he'll get within the fountain in time. And then behind the action, Visage getting finished by Vengeful Spirit. Can Drow get back into tier 3 in time? No, stunned by Venge.
But Tinker's out of mana, but they still get the kill.
Yeah, right click's enough there. TP in by Night Stalker, wants to get a return kill. But very slow during daytime. Venge goes the wrong way though, silence. Still can't catch up. Laser used to keep him from right-clicking, but he wasn't catching up either, and that turnaround lets him nuke her down. Now Spirit Breaker, this fight just doesn't want to end. Gets under tier 2 though and turns around and silenced. I think he might turn around again, but he's being chased out by both Shadow Demon and Visage. Charges up, but he doesn't have time, and there are 4 join in the fight.
Darkseer also gets that 670 gold from his Wicked 6 streak as well.
That's another change in 6.78. You're getting more gold on those streaks.
Despite this, this Radiant sub 3 heroes in the highest, and the only one that matches close is Darkseer. Even the supports are higher gold than Night Stalker and Drow.
Suppose if anything, the saving grace is that if Drow is left to right click, she can do a lot of damage with almost nothing as long as she has points in her ultimate. I think a bigger problem though is that she's only level 7, so she's so far away from that level 2 marksmanship.
Plus, Spirit Breaker can also charge her and take away her ultimate marksmanship.
Yeah, once you get it within that 350 range, 375 AoE, no longer get any bonus. But she's being charged right now.
However, she's backing off. We see the familiars being caught out. Oh, that's 100 gold to Weaver right there.
Spirit Breaker's still going. Oh, gets disrupted mid-charge and has to turn around.
However, Night Stalker TP's in to his death.
Pull up stun. Tinker able to burst him down. The vacuum's 4, but no wall put down.
And they won't find marching machines. We see a 4-staff on Tinker as well.
Not able to do enough. Darkseer only level 9, but he did get a point in wall. He just didn't drop it.
Tinker also has 4-staff now, along with Boots of Travel, so we're going to see his gold skyrocket very soon.
And he's already just about on top of the board. Spearbreaker, Tinker, Weaver, all very close. 6650, 6800. Well, now 7000, 6800, 6800.
And Radiant have all 5 heroes in the highest net worths. I just don't see the Dire coming back from this.
Yeah, they have a very snowball, as you mentioned, very snowball team. Well, actually, you mentioned on the Radiant side, but it applies to the Dire side as well, where, you know, if Night Stalker's not rolling, if Dro's not rolling, it gets very tough. The one saving grace you could say is the Darkseer. He is the highest on their team, and he has that team fight presence.
Yeah.
Venge in a really, really bad spot. Tries to TP out.
TP out. No.
Too much damage. Vacuum was still there if they needed it, but no, they're just going to call it.
Calls GG. 18 minutes.
GG called out. As mentioned, I guess they agreed with you. No real way of coming back here. We could see it, really. 10,000 experience and 14,000 gold. It's just 18 minutes.
I mean, Spearbreaker has drums, treads, urn, and 2,700 gold in the bank.
Yeah,
Weaver has 1,800 from his Perseverance. Not Lincoln's. And Tinker already has a 4-staff Boots of Travel and 1,500 gold save up.
Though the Dire not disconnecting.
See them trying to look to take this mid tower possibly. Get their first tower.
Didn't
still
seem to
Tinker.
work out. Yeah, they catch up to both. That's going to be
Tinker's
4.
14, so he has level 4 of all 3 of his normal spells. And that's going to do a lot of damage in a fight.
Yeah,
Laser missiles on the March of the Machines.
Yeah, with the clean wipe of 4, that's just about enough. There they go. So it'll just be a few seconds before that Ancient goes down, and we see the final score screen here.
I think the Dire Trilane just couldn't accomplish much, and Weaver got way too much XP and gold. I feel like if the Dire took a Trilane, they could easily have done a lot better, as they have 3 ranged heroes versus 2 melee, and eventually 400 range, so they can easily out harass.
Yeah, it seemed to be their intention, but both sides aggressive Trilane. They ended up dodging each other, and it took a few minutes before they rotated down. And after that, it just sort of started snowballing in one direction. But with that, we saw a strong Radiant victory. And that's
Also,
another in-house.
The lack of D-words on the Dire to help out Night Stalker with his ganks. So around 6, 7, or 8 minutes, you also want to have D-words.
Yeah, just as having that vision is very important when you're up against Night Stalker, then not letting them having that vision can pay off in the same kind of way when you're on the same side as the Night Stalker. So it certainly makes a whole lot of sense. And we saw it. Night Stalker didn't really have the early game he needed, and that kind of transferred to the whole rest of the team. So we'll see you in the next in-house.